little bit of a different view here, right? Always wanted to do this, so I'm gonna do it because I can. Today's episode, I'm gonna be doing my top 5 exercises for a 3D delt. I wanna hit the side delt and the rear delt quite a lot. So we're gonna spam that. And then the business topic is gonna be this, which is how I built a 7-figure clothing brand in 3 years. So with that being said, I'm gonna chug this and we'll get straight to it. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a quick tour. So this is the warehouse. More racks, more clothing racks. Orders shipping out soon. It's on the back of the warehouse. We got 2 fulfillment stations. It's currently our chill spot, our studio, and the front area. This used to be our mini store, but now we have that gym, that club next door. So it's really just an empty spot. No. They're all mine. I'm gonna eat them at once.
You get me Diet Coke?
No. You're taking a break from that.
No.
We've decided.
Who's we?
We.
I didn't participate in
We
this.
as in me.
Check it out later tonight and then dish it.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
What, recently or?
I don't know.
In my vlog. No, no.
I'm hiding. No. I'm hiding.
Yeah. No. My pre-workout kicked in 10 minutes ago. I'm gonna do super wide grip barbell rows on this, but since it's the Smith machine, it'll be a lot more control too, so I can really just feel the whole contraction. I'm gonna do a underhand grip, so just try to pull it up with my elbows up to my rear delts, and this will really fire up my my shoulders to start. Added 10s to this. Maybe I can add 10s again for the 3rd set. So we'll gradually, progressively overload, and then we'll head on to a side delt, then back to rear delt, then back to side delt. I'll see how I feel there. I might add a front delt there, or we might even continue with more rear and side. I would say the first 4 months of 2020, it was just setting up. Actually, let me go back to it. The first 4 months of First Apparel was just setting up the whole brand, which was the website, what products I want to use, which was a legging and a crop top in 3 colors and 3 sizes. It was setting up the branding, what kind of font I wanted to use, how I want the website to look, the colors that I'm gonna stay consistent with, and just the basics of what's gonna go down, setting up manufacturers, figuring out which suppliers I wanna work with, testing out some samples, and then pretty much went from there. That's what led us to our first ever drop, which was in January 2020, and that's where step 2 begins. We're on to our second exercise here. So I have dumbbell of 45 pounds here. I have a 45-pound dumbbell here. We're gonna use this bench to do single arm side delt raises. I'm gonna flip it on both arms and do at least 3 sets like that. So what I'm doing here actually is keeping my arms horizontal again, and I lean forward, and when I pull it with my elbows and my side delts, and I almost slightly pull it back, so it's engaging my side delt and rear delt. So it's engaging my side delt and rear delt more as I move it up as well. So that felt pretty good. We'll do a couple more sets like this. But going back to our topic, once everything was set up, the first move I remember we made after 4 months of just setting up. After 4 months of setting up the brand, First Held Apparel, the site, the socials, all of that, the first move we did once the products actually came in as well is I went to all the local tags in my city, like Toronto. I looked over all the gyms around and any fitness tags that the locals were using too, where I would go and meet up with them and give them some free product to promote us, to collaborate with, because I didn't know how to ship stuff back then. So I just ended up driving to them and giving it to them. And then I'd go into just normal commercial gyms, sometimes do some mini shoots with them just so I can create some UGC for our brand and they can start posting too. So I knew affiliate and ambassador programs work very well for a lot of brands, even 4 years ago when I was doing this. So I'm like, okay, that's all I know. So let me just get into that strategy to start off. And believe it or not, 3 or 4 weeks of doing that, having I think 10 or 15, maybe 20 different collaborations and ambassadors set up, just finding them through these tags on Instagram, we ended up making our first few sales. So another month went by into when I actually made that first sale. I remember we were just doing a product launch. So these sets that I was giving to local ambassadors, we hadn't launched yet. So we put them on the site with a date. We had a little bit of hype going on. Those ambassadors helped us, I guess, up the hype a little bit to their followers as well. And then the very first day that was up, I remember we made like $350. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this actually worked. And I remember doing like quick math, like $350, if I did that every single day, I'd make 10 grand in a month. So that really changes it for me. I've been really loving this type of rear delt motion where I lay on this adjustable bench and then do face pulls. I feel like my back end core is fully controlled. So I'm gonna do at least 3 sets here, maybe 4, and then go on to the next exercise. As we made that very first sale, or the first day, it was $350. I was like, okay, I did the mental math, whatever. This is how much I need to make to get 10K days and we're good. We're in a 6-figure brand. So I remember the very next day, we maybe made like 150. The next day we probably made like 50, and then a couple of days of nothing. And then I realized that, wait, this isn't gonna work out as easy as I think it is because momentum died off. But at that point, I knew exactly what to do, was to repeat the process that got me 350 in the first place. So exactly what I did. I went back, 10, 15 more collaborations, worked with them, dropped off packages, got them to promote. We still had some stock. and then it brought us some more sales, and we had that $300 or $400 day again. And I'm like, okay, so this is it. And that's pretty much what we did for the next few months, I would say, which didn't just get us to 1K days. I would say a few months of it took on and off a few $100 days until we made like a couple grand a month, and when we went into like maybe 3-4 grand, and another 3-4 grand, until we hit like a consistent 5K a month. Additional, I'd say 3 or 4 months, we just spammed. We were getting kind of used to what fulfillment looks like. It was being done at our supplement store back then, in the back of the supplement store, and just figuring out like customer service, making sure like the sizes are correct, figuring out the website, making sure the navigation is good, and just like the basics of functionality of this brand. So to get to nothing to 10K days or 10K months took us, I would say, a good 6 months, 6 or 7 months of just constantly marketing, hustling, working with new ambassadors, putting out new UGC, creating content ourselves, and slowly adding a few more colors for the products that we already had, which was racerbacks, sports bra, and some basic leggings. We're like, okay, now how do we get to 10K months? So let's repeat the same thing that we did. But oh no, we ran out of inventory and people need more options, because the customer started asking like, hey, do you have this or do you have that? Can I buy this? And we did it. We only had a few products on the site. So the next step was, okay, let's go create some more designs and possibly some more colors and even a couple more size ranges to attract new customers. So that's exactly what we did. Went back into the market with more products, which allowed us to create more content, which allowed us to then work with more collaborations and ambassadors and affiliates. And at that point, we started coming up with a little bit of ad budget as well on Facebook. Started dabbling into how to run that properly just off of YouTube. And that's what got us to the first 10K month. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, we came up to a 10K month. Let's do it again. So we repeated it the second month of it, and we repeated it again for the third month. And then guess what? We're like, all right, let's get to a 20K month goal. Pretty good. Pump is feeling good. So on the note of how I built this into a 7-figure brand in 3 years, the next step that we took going from 0 to 10K is consistently what I just explained. From that point on, our goal was to get it to 20K a month. So the only thing that was different from that point, I think we were into probably like August-ish time there. And for the next couple months, that was the goal. We gradually just add in a little bit more products, increase our ad budget a little bit as well, ran ads that targeted the right people that would respond to our, let's say, stories or ads, and we'd potentially gain some new customers. And it led us until Black Friday time. Mind you, at that point, everything was shut down as well because it was 2020. So there was more attention on social media as well. And I feel like that did have to do a little bit with our brand, that we got lucky that we rode the wave up with social media going up even more as well. So that led us to November time, which was Black Friday, and that changed everything for us. Drops it. Black Friday came around November, whatever, mid-November 15 or 19, we had enough of a hype where there were a lot of, I would say we were probably like around 10K or just under followers on Instagram, and that was our main source of traffic that was coming to our website, apart from some Facebook ads that were also being run strictly on Instagram. So at that point, with all the marketing that we were doing in-house, all the new products that we were launching, all the affiliates and ambassadors that we had at the time, there was no such thing as athletes back then, for us at least. And then, because we really just didn't have a budget for that. Just the overall hype of Black Friday shopping as well, first time being strictly mostly done online, is what got us to, on the first day of Black Friday, making $35,000 a single day. And me and Igli were like, holy shit, like this can actually happen. Up till that point, even though we were making the 5 to 10 to 14 to 15 to 18, whatever, it was still like, okay, we're not really sure, like, is this gonna like sustain or last, or does it really have that potential to become a bigger brand? But as soon as that Black Friday happened and all the cards were played right for our scale, and making $35,000 in one day, it was such an incredible feeling. We were like, holy, okay, let's dial in, because coming into the next year, 2021, we can really scale this brand.
Take him down. So you take that shield.
You're hitting yourself. This brings us to the next exercise. My shoulders still feeling good. They have some energy. So we're gonna end up doing another rear delt and another side delt, and then we'll finish off with one front delt. And that'll complete our 3D delt exercises. I guess that turned out to be 7 exercises, but we'll still just keep it at top 5. At this point, it was pretty much towards the end of the year. We, I believe, ended up just under like 400K or 350K, something like that. And then that went up to the next year, which was really scaling the same formula again. We're like, if we pulled this much and we were 3 times better, we could really be a 7-figure brand. So the entire year, that was pretty much the goal of 2021. That's obviously easier said than done, because there was a lot of hurdles. There were a lot of times where things weren't as high in sales as other months. So we had to figure out solutions and pivoting and testing different strategies. And I would say the thing that got us from 2020 growth to 2021 growth, because we were still in shutdown year as well, is strictly our products and marketing. We figured out different strategies that worked. Maybe they worked for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks. We cut that ad, or we cut that type of content. We test out the next content. We were always on lock with what's trending in social media, because it was always changing so fast, and it continues to. One day there were photos back then. One day there were giveaways. One day there were reels. There's TikTok. So our responsibility was to make sure that we're always up with the trend, that we're thinking ahead, that we're able to cut our losses for things that don't work, but at the same time pick up new strategies that do work. So having constant awareness for the business was what set us to become a 7-figure brand. Alright, we're on the cable extensions now. So I just have like the empty cable extension here. I'm not putting any handles on it, but I'm not going fully forward either. So my goal is, when I come up, is to use my elbows and bring it up like this, which is the halfway point, versus like all the way like that. That way I can push a little bit more, and it just switches it up from like constantly doing like full lateral raises to kind of half lateral raises. I remember when we made that 800K or whatever the second year, that I was almost in disbelief, like, can I actually repeat what I did? Or was this all because of COVID? Or was this all because of the shutdowns? Was it actually my own talent and skill and the community that I built, the products I built? Or like, what is this, right? So you're just in kind of like disbelief and doubt and doubting yourself. So I would say the biggest challenge that I had going into the following year, where we did become a 7-figure brand, is really believing that yes, even though it happened very quick, we did create a real formula that works, strategies that work, products that people like, and market accepted us. And that's what got us to that number, which will then take us to that 7-figure brand. I feel like the biggest lessons that I learned going into the year 2022, where we hit 7-figure brand, apart from like doubting myself and like actually seeing like, wait, is this gonna work, is that transition that started happening where people were shifting from online to in person. And it's something that we did definitely feel, because some months the previous year were crazy. Like our anniversary sale, like we hit almost 200. Actually, we did pass 200K in 1 month, and we made 100K over a weekend. We're like, this is insane. So we had some crazy months the previous year on social media, but the next year, I started feeling like, okay, now we're getting some lower months as well. Are we really going to be able to, which was in the first quarter of the business, and the second quarter, like, are we really going to be able to sustain this or even thrive from it? And that's where the initial strategies come in, that you always have to be ready to pivot and test new strategies. And we're like, fine, let's set up the store. Let's set up more local customers, invite them to come in and shop in person. We even did a warehouse sale in the summer just to test things out. We put up flyers all around the city, and we spoke to a lot of people. We went to malls. We started building relationships with business around us, just so we could start some sort of traffic and traction of people that are locally in this area, which will come shop in person, and almost became a second source of income. The same rules that what we had for online is what we applied to get from nothing to 10K months just strictly off of in-store shopping, while still sustaining and growing our online presence. Brings us to the last exercise here, which is Smith Machine shoulder press. I haven't really gotten any press movements in today's workout, so I'm just gonna end off with this, and we'll probably do like 3 solid sets, and that's it. Just 2 more sets left here, but we're feeling a juicy pump and the delts. Successful. The formula was always the same. The things that changed were the specific details and actions that we had to take on a daily basis to get to the next level while sustaining the current level. So putting in the work daily of what it takes to create that number every day, to pull that much sales every day, continuously working on the strategies that are working for us and being aware of things that aren't working. As soon as the things stop working, cutting our losses as quickly as possible, and so we don't waste any more time there, and spending time finding new strategies. So that's really what we did in the year 2022, which took us towards the end of the year just over 7 figures. I would have never imagined that when I just started off this brand as a supplement brand with no sales or barely any sales, to going in with Big League is a store, and then going into First Health Apparel, getting a warehouse that it would take, taking the warehouse to 7 figures, multi 7 figures, and then coming into this gym around is actually incredible. And it just answers like whatever your dreams are and goals are, you can actually accomplish any one of those. All you have to do is everything that I just stated is have super self-awareness, know when to cut your losses, know when to start doing the things that are working, going hard on them for as long as possible, and then just on to the next and make things bigger, make community bigger, launch more products. And that got us to this gym. Okay, that pretty much completed our workout here. Time to do a little bit of that physique check, and then we're done. That's it. We're onto a treadmill now. Gonna do our cardio. But to close off this video, hopefully you guys found some useful tips here. My top 5 exercises for 3D delts. Also how I built a I wish, one day. How I built a 7-figure brand in 3 years. So get some value off of that, whether from the business side or the fitness side. But either way, see you guys in a couple days. Peace.